morning, class. I am Leoncio Tubay and I'm your teacher for this morning. If you want to learn something, just listen and pay attention on my presentation. Before we proceed with our discussion, let us have first a short recapitulation about our previous lesson. Last meeting, we discussed about sewing tools and equipment. What is sewing tools and equipment? Sewing tools and equipment usually means items you will use to help your sewing experience to get the best result possible. Sewing tools are those which don't require the use of electricity. It is used manually or by hand, such as scissors, marking device, measuring tape, and needles. Sewing equipment are those heavy-duty items, such as sewing machine itself and steamer and serger. Before we proceed with our topic for today, we will have first an activity. This activity entitled Guesses in One Word. With the title itself, Guesses in One Word, I will show you some pictures and the picture you will be seeing have similar thought. The jumbled letters below will help you in determining what the pictures convey. Our topic this morning is closely related to the game we play. Do you have any hint probably what will be our topic this morning? Our topic this morning is all about principles of food selection and evaluation. In connection with that, this will be our objectives as we go along with our discussion. At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to identify the food selection criteria, determine the factors that can affect people in choosing food and beverages, share their insights on the importance of human senses, and illustrate the selection criteria used in the videos and images. And the last one is create a 1-minute video advertisement about Filipino traditional dishes incorporating the 5 selection criteria. Our topic this morning is all about principles of food selection and evaluation. Later, I will discuss the 5 factors that could affect people in choosing food and beverages. And I will also discuss the 5 selection criteria that could affect people in choosing food and beverages. But for now, let us have first the first factors that could affect people. The first one is biological determinants of food choice. Hunger and satiety are psychological needs provide the basic determinants of food choice. Humans need energy and nutrients in order to survive and will respond to the feeling of satiety. Different macronutrients have different effects of satiety. For example, fat is the least satiating, followed by carbohydrates and protein. In addition, low energy density diets have greater satiety and then high energy density diets. The second one is palatability. Palatability is proportional to the pleasure someone experiences when eating a particular food. It is dependent on the sensory properties of the food such as taste, smell, texture, and appearance. Palatability or the taste increases as the pleasures an individual experiences from eating a particular food or a specific food. The taste, the smell, the texture, the color, and the appearance can all impact on people's food choices. For example, sweet foods have high sensory appeal and have higher palatability. Second factor, economic and physical determinants of food choice. Cost and accessibility. There is no doubt that the food is primary determinant of food choice. Whether cost is prohibitive depends on fundamentally on person's income and socioeconomic status. The cost of food and the ability of an individual to afford specific foods are the primary determinants of food choice. Low-income groups consume unbalanced diet and low intakes of fruits and vegetables. Our third factor, social determinants of food choice. Social class or socioeconomic, what people eat is formed and constrained by circumstances that are essentially social and cultural. There are differences in food choices in different social classes, which lead to both under and overnutrition. For example, people within social classes tend to have healthier diets, high intakes of fruits, lean meat, oily fish, raw vegetables compared with manual workers. Next, cultural influences lead to the differences in the habitual consumption of certain foods and in traditions of preparation, and in certain cases can lead to restrictions such as inclusions of meat and milk from the diet. Evidence has shown us that our traditions, beliefs, and values are among the main factors in people's food preferences. For example, our Muslim brothers and sisters, they did not eat pork because that is part of their traditions. Next is social context. Social context it includes both people who have an impact on the individual's eating behavior and in a setting in which an individual's consumes their dietary choice. People influence an individual's food choices directly and indirectly. Fourth factor, meal patterns. People have many different eating occasions daily, the motivations of which will differ from one occasion to the next. Most studies investigate the factors that influence habitual food choice at different eating occasions. Last determinant, the psychological factors. Stress. Psychological factors or stress is a common features of modern life and can be modified behaviors that affect health such as physical activity, smoking, or food choice. The effect of stress on food choice is complex and individualistic. There are some people who have stress who consume more food and make a healthy food choice, and others consume less food. Next is mood. Hippocrates was the first to suggest the healing power of food. However, it was not until the Middle Ages that food was considered a tool to modify temperament of mood. Food can change an individual's temperament and mood can influence on food choices. And now, let us discuss the sensory criteria. What is sensory criteria? When people choose a particular food, they evaluate it primarily on how it looks, smells, the tastes, feels, and even sounds. These sensory criteria have the strongest influence on food selection and evaluation. There are 5 basic senses that could help us to evaluate and select a food. The first is sight. The eyes receive the first impression of foods, the shapes, the colors, consistency, serving size, and the presence of any outward effects. So our sight will give us the first impression about what we see on the food based on the food's color, the textures, and the appearance of the food. The next is odor. Smell is almost as important to appearance when people evaluate food item or for quality and desirability. Short exposure of foods odors enhance salivation, the tongue and hunger feelings. Third is touch. The sense of touch, whether it operates inside the mouth or through the fingers, conveys to us food's textures, consistency, astringency, and temperature. Touch is an easier sense to think about when we are eating. Textures can be felt with finger, tongue, teeth, and even palate. Fourth selection criteria, the tastes. Taste is usually the most influential factors in people's selections of food. There are 5 basic tastes. First one is sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Umami is an appetitive taste, sometimes describes as savory or meaty. It is the most recently identified and accepted in the basic tastes. The last selection criteria is hearing. The sounds associated with food foods can play a role in evaluating their quality. Example, crunching correctly can communicate a great deal about food. People choose a particular food. When people choose a particular food, they evaluate it primarily on how it looks, smells, tastes, feels, and even sound. These sensory criteria have the strongest influence on people's food choices. Based on our discussion class, there are several factors that could have the strongest influence on food selection. Now, what are those factors that influence in people choosing food and beverages? People choose foods and beverages based on several factors. What are those factors? There are 5 factors. The first factor is biological determinant of food choice. Second, economic and physical determinant of food choice. Third, social determinant of food choice. Next, meal pattern. And the last one is psychological factors. Last, in order to measure your knowledge about the topic, we will have another activity. create a 1-minute video advertisement about Filipino food traditional dishes, incorporating the 5 selection criteria to persuade the Filipino food consumers. You can send your videos in our Moodle class. I hope you have learned something about this video. Stay safe and be healthy. Thank you for watching. Bye!